Greetings and salutations, not half pop pickers, out of Unit 1 into Unit 2. How about a little bit of Dave D. Dozy Beacon? You know what, all right. Slightly screwed that. Hello, everybody. Russ Kane here. This is the Daily Show on Men's Radio Station. Got off to an amazing start today, but we'll discuss that with my wonderful co-host. One of the... she's just pure filth, to be honest with you. Lesley de Mesa. Well, yes, she is.
Filth.
Filth.
Okay, before you start.
Yeah, I've started already, babe.
I thought I'd better get set up this morning, so I tried the usual laptop I use. Fabulous.
Okay. Great.
Sound working, everything went
marvelous.
No camera.
No camera.
Tried adjusting it. I don't know what I'm doing. Tried second laptop, camera, no sound.
Second laptop. Things are going well in the Demesa household. All right, go on.
Thank you. One is only for work, but not anymore.
Obviously. One's for porn.
And I am now on my iPad.
Oh, it's very good. It looks good because I got a nice view of your nostrils, and we can clear that.
Oh, stop it!
And no, it's a good view, and the sound's good. The sound's all right, but the picture's very good. The picture's excellent.
I hate my nose. Don't mention
why.
My nose.
Why do you hate your nose?
I think it's a horrible nose.
Trust me, that's not the worst of your features. I've known you since 1984. And the nose is the least of your problems.
Do you know
what?
I have to tell you.
What?
Many years ago, I was talking to a friend and we were talking about plastic surgery, and I said to her, I'd like to have a nose job. And she said exactly what you've just said. Your nose is the least of your problems.
Hey, you know what? Let's go to Houston in Texas. Yeehaw, Texas. Ding. Good morning, folks. Yeah, I'm on first today. Julie Voice. Hello, Julie Voice, all the way from Houston, Texas. Fantastic. That's what we love. I had an extraordinary start to my day. Doorbell went, and bloke delivering a parcel. I said, thank you very much. Off he goes. And I try and pick this parcel up. It weighs 20 tons, right? And I'm thinking, oh, now, you wouldn't know, but two of my comedy writing heroes are because they're both past. Ray Galton and Alan Simpson wrote Hancock's Half Hour and so much stuff. I mean, they were just the kings of British comedy. And for reasons, I must have mentioned this sometime, and I became friends, although we've never met, so it's only a digital friendship, with Sarah Galton, who is Ray Galton's daughter. Having mentioned I was a huge fan of her father, about a year or more ago, she sent me a signed copy, signed by both the scriptwriters of Hancock's Half Hour scripts. I was like, this is like the Holy Grail, you can imagine. So I opened this big parcel, assuming it's from my kids or something for the birthday. No, it's from Sarah Galton, who had no idea that it was my birthday, full of CDs and books and everything about the greatest era of British comedy. Huge box with a lovely handwritten letter. So sweet of her. From Houston in Texas, we go slightly north. Well, it's probably a plane trip. No, it would be a plane trip, wouldn't it? To Elizabeth Green in Manhattan. Hello to you, Liz. And then from Manhattan, we dash across to Fife in Scotland. Sue Sleet, good morning, everyone. Just stopped and can't stay. Oh, well, bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Can we go back to your parcel?
Yeah, sure.
I think it's lovely that she knows your address. 1984, and I have no idea what.
No, you don't know where I live. No, because she said I was going to send you this, and I don't give out my address. No one knows where I live. That's how I like it. I like being completely anonymous. That's the joy. Here's a little thing for you. It was the national. I never watch award shows ever. I think they are a revolting sort of several boring hours of very, very rich people clapping each other on the back. I think they make my stomach. Have you gone extra blonde, by the way? What's going on? You've gone extra blonde today.
It's curly.
What's going on?
I've left
it's gone curly.
Washed it, and this is what happens if I don't blow dry it. Okay?
Oh, I see.
And I'm trying to grow. No, I'm not extra blonde, darling. More grey.
I thought you were. I thought you had like blonde highlight, extra blonde highlights put in.
No.
Yeah. No.
No, this is an old woman. Old woman without.
You're not an. Anyway, We've gone to Houston. Stop saying it. We've gone to Houston, Texas. We've gone to Manhattan. We've gone to Fife in Scotland. We've gone. I don't know where Sen is. God knows. And we're now going to Albany, New York.
Can I give a shout out to Asa, because he sent me a private birthday message yesterday, and I was so appreciative. Bless him. Lovely man.
And he is a very nice man, and we will be getting him on the show. And hang on, we haven't finished anywhere near. Look at this, from south of New York, east of Houston. Hello from Mary G. Williams. This is fantastic.
Hello.
Yeah, Mary G. Williams. I always think she's going to be Mary J. Blige, but no, she's not. And she's from south of New York, east of Houston. Hello, isn't that great? I love it. Who knew when I set up the Daily Show that we'd have listeners from all over America? Makes me very happy. Have you noticed I'm wearing a tie today?
I would like to know why. Have you got an interview?
Yeah, got an interview as a janitor in Tesco's. No, because I never wear anything except my Doc Martin boots, jeans, and a leather jacket. That's my uniform for 12 months of the year. I decided to cheer myself up a little bit, and I thought I'd put on a shirt and tie for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I'm not seeing anybody today,
and it's not
as per usual. As per you, me and my dog the whole day. Freaking.
First of all, you look fabulous in grey.
Thank you, darling. I'm going to take that. Thank you.
Please, is it pre-birthday celebration? Maybe.
I'm not having a birthday celebration.
No, I know.
Tomorrow. But yeah, I just thought. You know
yes,
what? I thought, sod it. I'm going to make a weekend of it.
You look like a silver fox. You are very suave.
God, it means I'm going to die. So anyway, going back to the award shows. All right.
Yes. Nothing else on.
Twitter is full. No, I'll come on to other stuff in a minute. Twitter is, because there's an event that I did this week, and I want to talk about it. But the award shows, this is where it gets confusing, and I'd love everybody's opinion on this. It was this. It was the National Television Awards, which I'd rather go to the dentist than sit through, because it's all crap. I'm not interested in it at all, to be honest with you. I'm not interested in light entertainment. It doesn't interest me. And I love movies, love books. I like music, light entertainment. I love comedy. That's different. And naturally, the big award went to Philip. I jump a queue. We jump any queue.com for Schofield and Holly, and the whole of the. I don't know. Is the show called This Morning? I don't know what This Morning. Hello Britain.
Something like that.
I don't know what it's called. Anyway, so the whole team, which seems to be about 3,000 people, all go on stage. Now, Twitter is full of the fact that Philip Schofield was booed. So I thought, I'll listen to these clips. So I listened to the clips on Twitter first thing this morning, out of curiosity, just to as a sort of touchstone of the national mood. I couldn't hear any boos at all, which is two things. Either ITV edited it. I mean, you can do anything with sound. You know that. And we haven't even touched the sides of what deep fake will do and probably cause a war. So I couldn't hear any boos at all. So either it was fake news, or it was edited out. It's one of the two. Or my hearing is shit, which we all know is true because my hearing is terrible. But there we are. So that was that. Yeah, what? 2:30. The most interesting thing was when I think there's things abroad, because Schofield then said, and we want Alison, who's Alison Hammond. Go figure. To say something, and the place erupted. Isn't it interesting? Just interesting.
I wonder.
I think she'll take over. They'll probably have her and I don't know, the other bloke is Dermot.
Well,
Dreary.
He's no longer doing any car.com. He's lost that.
Has he?
Yeah. Apparently.
Well, precisely. I wouldn't buy the thing. You know that the guy with all the teeth with the jet black hair. I don't know what he was. He was on Big Brother or something. Ryland.
Oh, Ryland.
He does those. Yeah. Is he? I don't know what the hell he is. He advertises a car brand. I deliberately won't buy. I wouldn't buy it. If I don't like the people they've got as the front person, I go, sod it, I'll go somewhere else. You're annoying me with your stupid adverts. Anything with that ghastly Keith Lemon, whatever he advertises, I will buy anything except him. What a jerk.
I can't bear him, but I
have to switch channels. I even if it comes on as an advert, I have to switch channels. I can't stand him.
However, Ryland is actually one of those people that suffered with mental health problems.
Well,
issues,
because his
depression.
boyfriend broke up with him.
Oh, stop it.
No,
Don't-
because his boyfriend broke up with him and he went on
His-
and on and on about it.
His husband.
Yeah. Didn't die, leaving him with 2 young kids.
Come on, Russ.
No.
No,
I have little, I'm not that sympathetic about this stuff.
But
I'm
if
just not.
it was a
Because they
man and
milk
woman,
it. Because they milk it, Lily.
okay, you may think that, fair enough. He's in the public eye, yes, but anybody whose relationship breaks up is entitled to be a bit distraught and hurt and even go off kilter for a while, whether you're gay or straight or whatever.
It's irrelevant. I don't care.
You see, you're saying he milked it. I had no idea that they'd broken up. So he may have milked it.
They play no part. I go through life thinking they play no more part, and I'm no more interested in them than they've ever been in me. Why would I care? Why would I care about these people? They don't care about me. They don't care about you. We don't know them. They're total strangers. Why do we care? We don't. This is this ridiculous philosophy. We have to care about these, celebrities who do car adverts. We don't.
It's for me. There's a difference with care in mind. I don't know. It's not so much. I care for anybody that's actually emotionally distraught.
Yeah, sure. That's different.
I can empathize.
We can empathize. I'm not sure.
But I don't have to put them down because, oh, good, you've got a runny nose as well. Excellent. That's both of us.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell it is.
Oh, well, we've got to complain about a runny nose.
No, I don't know what it is. It just is. What the hell? What the hell? Now, this week, something very interesting happened. I have been after a chap called Luther Blissett, who is a footballing legend. I know nothing about football, but even I know that he is a legend. And it's taken me a number of years to finally rope him in. And as Lesley would tell you, I'm not the most patient of people. I have no patience at all. I have no patience. If I need it, I need it now. If I want something done, I want it done now. I don't have patience because life is too short. That's why. And finally, he and I hooked up with his brilliant partner, Lauren Fox, who every time I speak to, I go, I've got a lovely piece of liver for you, Mrs. Fox, which she likes, and nobody else gets the gag. It's the Dad's Army gag. And I've been wanting to do live events for men's radio for a long time. And I've had every excuse that we can't do it. And I just thought, F it. We're just doing it. I'm not waiting any longer. Let's just do it. And through the council up in Watford, just got it. They took over a theatre. We had no idea what it was going to be like. And on Wednesday, I hosted an evening. And we had 5 guests up, all of whom had various issues about mental health. It was the most amazing evening because I've never known what it would be like if we do this. I don't mean you and I arsing around on a Friday. I mean, if we do what we normally do during the week, if we did it in a live situation with live interaction with real people face to face, not on a screen, it was fantastic. Anyway, we're going to roll it out. So I hope the next time we do it, and I couldn't believe how many people turned up because I only publicized it for 2 days, 2 days. And it was fabulous.
He was a Watford player, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. And he's been very good. And what it was, and it was fascinating, the guests. One guy is ex-army. He set up a charity for basically ex-troops. And got talking to this guy. Then he was very open. He was really blunt. So it was like a Graham Norton setting. I'm a big Graham Norton fan. I think he's very interesting, very, very nice man. Very, very nice man.
Lovely, lovely human being.
And witty and a good writer. And I went to see him in a conversation, just talking about writing and his books. And on a one-to-one basis, he was just great. Big fan of his. So I just sort of sat there and we did what we do normally on the Daily Show, but live on stage. So the ex-soldier who was effing and blinding and I'm going to come on to why in a minute. He was right. I agree with everything he said. He had tried to end his own life 3 times. 3 times. And, you know, we really got deep into it. There was a young girl, 26, beautiful girl, who is in the Miss England finalists, is going into Miss Universe. You think, and is highly qualified, is a financial, you know, like very senior as well for her age. She's done brilliantly. Suffered from depression for years. Her mum and dad were in the audience. Another fascinating conversation. Everyone was so open about it and very real. I wish you could have been there because I think you would have, you know, you would have really, I'm not going to say enjoy. There was a young black guy. I make the point deliberately, I'm not being rude. Really young guy, 24, called Antonio, schizophrenic, sensational guy. So much so that EastEnders used him for one of their big storylines. So his story was written in. He advised the whole of the EastEnders writing team to get it absolutely right. What a fascinating, fascinating guy. And there was another chat. All of these people will be guests on the Daily Show bit by bit. It'll take months because we're booked up into December. If you build it, they will come. And there was another chap, another young guy who looks after a big charity around the Watford area, very young, who basically had a complete breakdown and suffered with depression. Again, a relationship broke up, went back to his mum and dad. And all of these people were, and Luther, talking about the fact that once you're not a footballer, what do you do with your life? What do? You don't have your mates. You don't have a job. You don't have the camaraderie. It was such an interesting evening. It really was, you know. There's so much work, Lesley, and you know, and I love working with you, as you know, and because you're very sympathetic as well, in the proper sense of the word of sympathy. I don't mean like, oh, what's this? I mean like you're empathetic. So much work to be done out there. So much.
It's interesting. It was Watford. I did excuse me. At one stage, I did a lot of work for Hertfordshire, and Hertfordshire, educationally, with emotional health and well-being, drugs education, all the rest of it, were phenomenally way ahead of the game of any other county that I worked with. They really bent over backwards to help young people. And I'm pretty sure they still have youth support services.
Yes, they do.
Where lots of councils haven't. They, you know, the money's
what is that tri-area? Because we know we've got people around Elizabeth Green in New York. Let's call it the tri-state area. What is that? Hearts, beds, and what's it called? You'd know.
Well,
I can never remember.
Hertfordshire is a shire county. Yeah. And then you've got Bedfordshire and you've got Buckinghamshire.
That's it. It's Hearts, Beds, and Bucks.
Yeah, but I'm not as au fait with Bedfordshire or Buckinghamshire, but I know
sometimes they tie up. It was really good.
Yeah,
really good. I mean,
it's just
one of the guys I met, he comes a guy called Neville Spears, right? And he goes, he said, I have the right to be as rude as I like because I'm autistic. And he made me laugh so much. He was an extraordinary fellow who gave the end speech for about 10 minutes. It was hilarious and very telling. And then there's a guy called Rabindranath Martins, who is the councillor for the Central Ward Community of Mental and a mental health champion of Watford Borough Council. What a great guy. What a great, unassuming. These guys have just said, we've got to do something. We've got to do something. Now, oh God, we could talk about this for so much. Look at this. Elizabeth Green in Manhattan saying this. Being alive is a challenge. Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Every freaking day. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, stop it. Stop trying to pull focus. Stop talking bollocks. No, I think she's right. I find it like every day I think, okay, we're just going to have to get through this somehow. And this is very sweet. I mean, we could do this. Please come to Edinburgh, or better still, Roth Hall. Have I pronounced that right? David Lee Roth. Oh, I was going to say David Lee Rothet. David Lee Roth Hall in Faith. Well, I don't know anybody up there, darling. You'd have to sort of organise it. And then
Edinburgh's lovely.
I love Edinburgh.
With you. Well, you know I would. Let's
So my
hope.
plan has worked. I have no interest in mental health, just getting Lesley de Mesa up to Edinburgh. God, I could just go to Stanmore. It's at the end of my tube line. It's easier than Edinburgh. Love Edinburgh. Edinburgh's great. Food is fantastic up there. Anyone who can create a square sausage, come on. Square sausage. It's bloody marvellous. Very nice in Edinburgh. Very nice. I found a great place to smoke cigars. So I was so happy. I could get my single malt. It was a hotel and it had like a sort of igloo. And I'd go there every day because I was up there for the Edinburgh Fringe. I did a 2-week run. And I'd go there every day with a cigar and single malt and this kind of igloo thing. It was just marvellous. Met interesting people. And what is Liz Green saying? She is saying that I can't get my mouse to work. Gratitude works. I woke up this morning and here you guys are. Gratitude works.
Aww.
Does it really? Well, it's very sweet of you. Thank you very much. One of the things that came up. Go on.
No, I was going to say gratitude. It's a bit like karma, isn't it? What if you give out, you get back? Generally speaking.
I heard a wonderful story. I've got to be very, very vague about it, so I can't give any hints. A wonderful story yesterday on the phone of somebody in a very high up position, a very, very important job, had they were short-staffed and they needed experts in that field. That's all I'm going to say. All right, could be anything, right? Could be aerospace. And they said, "Oh, we found the person. It's Fred Smith." And my friend said, "Oh, Fred Smith. I think I know that name. Could you give me a little time?" Looked up Fred Smith. I'm just making the name up, obviously, to cover it up, and realized that this particular person had slagged my friend off endlessly, professionally,
nice,
on social media. And so my friend then went back to the authorities and said, "No, not working with this person." And it's karma. That's karma. That's karma. Yeah. And when the mirror was held up to the Fred Smith character, and the guy went, "Oh yeah, I did do that." Dick. Dick. You got to say, don't go into the public arena and stuff. Don't do that. And that it was a very, very unpleasant comment, and not true, by the way.
It's interesting. When I first went freelance, one of my very close friends said to me, who was freelance, he said to me, "I know what you're like. Whatever you do not slag anybody off. If you're going to have an argument, have a face-to-face, but don't do anything in the public because it will come back and bite you." And he was spot on. And I don't think I did. And you know how difficult I can be. Let's put it that way. Or maybe you don't
Surely
know.
Not.
Maybe you don't know.
Oh, no. I've known you since 1984. I know.
Okay, but yeah, there have been gaps.
Yay, Cumberland Gap, Lonnie Donegan. So that was that. One of the things that came up in this wonderful evening, it's not a conference, it was an evening. I don't know how well, an event, if you like. Fantastic atmosphere from the audience. Oh my God, absolutely wonderful. Was that how charities are not really charities. They're in the business of business.
Oh, yeah.
This guy the ex-soldier who started his own charity, I'll get him on, but I can't remember the name of the charity. I'm sorry, and I don't want to misname it. These huge charities, Help for Heroes and all of those things, right? I'm not saying they haven't helped. They have helped. But they and every other charity that you are constantly told to donate to, especially on TV adverts, which cost a bloody fortune, right, are sitting on millions.
Yeah.
When I was Chief Barker of Variety Club, it was called Variety Club. It's now called Variety, the children's charity, but you knew it better as Variety Club, which I preferred it as a name anyway. Do you need to go out? Oh, jeez. Chat.
Not in a big way. Chat. Oh, okay. Well, Russ has gone to let Ebony out. Now, we all know about Ebony. I'm not sure where she's going or if she's going on her own or if he's taking her. They do have a relationship by which they communicate with each other, apparently without speech, because Ebony was here the other week with Russ. She wouldn't go anywhere that he wasn't. She had a wander around. She tried to I
Sorry
suppose,
about
acclimatise herself. I'm just telling people about Ebony and explaining that I'm not sure if she went out on her own or if you went with her, but you
I had
do
to go.
have
I had to open the door for her.
Yeah, but you have a relationship where you don't actually verbally communicate, but you do communicate.
All the time. But she's never barked. I know everyone says, "Oh, you must be." You see, my dog has never barked, ever. She doesn't bark. She clears her throat. She wants my attention. I get a sort of, when I turn around. You think I'm joking? It's absolute. What? So she can sit out on the balcony. I was going to say this as Chief Barker, and I'm going to bring Chantal in a sec.
I'm sorry, Russ. You
What?
just said so she can sit out on the balcony. I just had this vision of Ebony in a little chair taking in the
She would do it.
sun.
She's always on a chair. She's got everywhere, but she's got to be like 2 feet from me, day and night. And then we have to watch TV together. She has to sit on my lap, so I'm like, trying to see the screen.
Not that
tall. A schnauzer in front of me.
She's not that tall.
No, but she sits on my. You don't know where my TV's positioned. See.
Exactly.
Anyway, what I was going to say about charities, and I hope people understand this, is that a lot of them are in the business of just raising money, and they sit on millions and millions. Now, I used to see as Chief Barker the accounts of the other major charities. So this isn't an apocryphal story. You would see the accounts, and you think they're sitting on millions of pounds, not hundreds of thousands, millions, sometimes tens of millions. That money's on deposit. They're making money. And the question is, and this is what this guy who was ex-army was furious about, why aren't they giving it to the people they're set up to give it to? Why is it sitting in the bank? And of course, the point he also made is that some of the chief executives of these charities are on 130, 140, 150,000 pounds a year. They're in the business of business. All right. They have huge staffs, huge overheads. That's why I fell out with Variety eventually. When I started, 90p in the pound, if you're in America, let's call it 90 cents in the dollars, went to the children, underprivileged children that needed the help. And then that figure slid to at least 50%. And I thought, no, this is a political thing. I don't like paying these executives a lot of money. This is nonsense. As Chief Barker, you weren't allowed to charge for a cup of coffee. I had to travel all over the country, stay in hotel, everything. Never charged a penny. Couldn't. And same with men's radio and women's radio. By the way, there are 3 directors, and we have never taken a single penny out of this. They are CIC companies. Right. Sue Sleet is saying this, and then we're going to bring on Chantal, who's looking steamingly hot. Most charities in the UK are big business. Yep. And only give a small percentage to the people they're helping. Agreed. Which is why I don't give them. I never give them.
Yeah.
Never give them. I certainly never give to a foreign charity. Ever. Never give to foreign aid. Never will. If we've got food banks, I'm sorry, and don't call me xenophobic. If we've got food banks and people living on the street in the United Kingdom, we come first. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, you love her. She is the screen queen, Chantal Rickards. There she is. I don't know what that top is, but the top looks marvelous.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I don't know how to rearrange this, but there we are. There we are. I'll be on the end. And how are you?
I'm really good. I mean, it's such a crazy day. 1 minute you're in, 1 minute you're out. And I know that you've just shown Ebony the door, but if you hadn't caught up with it, I think Kwasi Kwarteng's just been shown the door as well.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
You are joking me.
No, I'm not. It's just come up on my BBC feed. So poor bloke.
He's been there 3 minutes.
She's got no one left. There's no one left to choose from.
There's the 3 of us. We're going to be running the country at this rate.
You know what? It might be better.
It could be.
I just want an assurance, Russ, that I'm going to be back here next Friday.
Oh, I always say thank you. And you probably think, but he doesn't mean it. No, I really mean it. You know that. I'm so grateful. He's just been. How can that's so shit. I'm sorry. You cannot have, I know that's not why you're here, but you cannot have a country led by the media. You can't.
Well, it is. It's a bit tail wagging the dog at the moment. It's a bit worrying.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it puts the power into people who are not elected, the Daily Mail gang, particularly, and it puts the power in their hands. We didn't vote for them. We don't even know who they are. We're never going to meet them.
We didn't actually vote for the Prime Minister. Let's be realistic.
Oh, I know that. But we never voted for. But with respect, we never voted for Gordon Brown. That was a deal in an Italian restaurant, so we weren't privy there. We weren't privy there. This is not without precedent. This is, we pretend we're in a democracy. It's complete nonsense. We're not in a democracy at all. We never are. Now, I have to tell you that over in Los Angeles, my pal, Lloyd Beanie, is, for reasons, he's far from well. He can't come back at the moment. He's really not well. No, I mean, really not well. And so we're messaging all the time. And in fact, he got one point, I said, do you need me to fly over? I was actually that worried. And he said, well, there's nothing you can do apart from fluff up my pillows. And I said, well, stop that. I'm not spending a fortune flying 11 and a half hours to fluff up your sodding pillows in the hospital. Anyway, I don't know. I think he's out of hospital finally. And as soon as he's better, he's going to fly back. But all I get is, I said, how are you? And all I got was, when's Chantal on? And I went, you're having a major operation. He said, no, but when's she?
Lloyd, I'll come and fluff up your pillows.
Oh, for God's sake, don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. That's all the encouragement this man needs. You think I'm bad? You have no idea. Every conversation, how is Chantal? What is the situation? I said, Lloyd, shut up. You're married. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Right. This is from Ramsey. And Ramsey, who's a high flyer, keeps it very low key. The media can only report on what they see before them. No, they make it up, Ramsey. That's not true. No, seriously. Look, ask Chantal. She's like in there.
No, listen. You're
leaving Europe. We become like Italy without the food, fashion, sense. Not even the cars. No, we got Bentley. Oh no, they're German now, aren't they? Really? We got Bentley, Rolls Royce, Aston Martin, Jaguar, Land Rover. They're owned by foreign people, but they're made here, so that's the main thing. And find weather. Yeah, I know. I would live in Italy if it actually worked. No, I would. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the people. I love the language. I like the atmosphere, the buildings, the weather, the food, the cars, the women, the fashion. It's great. It's a great country. Now then, would you go back? Here's a question, but you wouldn't go back and live in America, would you?
No, definitely not. Never again. I don't think I'll ever live overseas ever again. I think I
Really?
sort of, America now feels like a big mistake to me. I mean, it was great, and I got out of it when I wanted to get out of it.
Where else would I have stayed?
I know.
Come on. But it's all about me, but your apartment in LA was fabulous. And I could walk to, what was that place called? Just up the road. Where I had all the shop. The what?
Oh, to the Beverly Center or to the Grove?
The Grove. I could walk to the Grove. It was wonderful. Walk in LA. Walk. It was only me on the pavement.
Funny what? This morning I was watching a 1982 documentary from Barry Norman going to Hollywood. And I just saw it come up on my BBC feed. And I thought, let's just have a look at that and see what Hollywood was like in 1982. Because I didn't actually go out to Hollywood until the early 90s, I don't think. That's when I started filming out there. So I got to know it a bit from the early 90s onwards. But Barry Norman in Hollywood in 1982 was quite extraordinary. But they went to lots of the same sort of charity fundraisers, exactly the same thing that I was doing 40 years later. And I was thinking, not that much changed in the 40 years between the 80s and the...
It's very hard to think of some way new. We used to do this at Variety. What can you do? Everyone's sick of rubber chicken dinners. I won't go to them anymore. I just won't. I'm with 20 minutes. I want to go home. I'd rather just give the money and not have to go. Ramsey says, I'm with Chantal. I wouldn't live in the US right now. Did you guys see the Catty K documentary on the state of politics? No, I didn't. Did you?
I did. I'd have to say I've been I've been a fan of Catty K. Catty K was the BBC correspondent from Washington for many, many, many years. And she left the BBC, I think, 2 or 3 years ago to become a freelance journalist. And this is the first documentary I've seen her do since then. It was actually on the BBC, and it's about whether Trump will rise again. and the state of America and the Trump situation currently, which of course is also changing day by day. Big news from America last night about Trump, who may have to be called to court to give his talk or whatever it is, his excuses about what happened on January the 6th, but that's another thing. Anyway,
you know, there's that, and everyone jumping up and down because the media is fairly liberal, well, very liberal. And then you've got the other side with the people like Greg Gutfield, who I suggested to you, who I know you'll hate, but Greg Gutfield with his Tuppenny Halfpenny show, the whole show looks like it cost sixpence. It's the number one late night show now. It's beating Kimmel, the ghastly James Corden, sorry, and Jimmy Fallon. And it's kind of very, in the great scheme of things, compared to Kimmel and Fallon, it's like to the right, obviously.
yeah,
But the one thing is, you will remember that the January the 6th thing, and everyone bangs on and on and on and on and on and on and on about it, right? They don't bang on about the endless riots in the democratically held cities where billions of dollars were wiped. That doesn't count. And also, they don't go on about this so-called letter. It was a really fabulous interview. You will recall there was a letter signed by 50 security experts, coming from the security services, saying that the Hunter Biden laptop affair was Russian disinformation.
oh yes,
This was leaked. Biden used it in a speech and a debate with Trump, I think 2 or 3 days before the election. All right. They got one of the signatures on, who is an ex-CIA, who is currently serving, he's either CIA or FBI, currently serving. And they interviewed him. They said, oh, no, we never said that. And so the guy, the interviewer, is reading it. So this is what it says. He says, no. We said it had the earmarks of. And they said, well, wait a minute. That's not what Biden said. Biden said it was absolutely Russian disinformation. Oh, well, and he just skewed and turned and blowed in the wind. I mean, they are all disgusting. The lot of them. The only decent bloke is Ron DeSantis, and that's it. What have you seen on Ron DeSantis from Florida? Ron DeSantis will run. Ron DeSantis will run. And of course, it all depends. It all depends. I don't care about British politics because they're all ghastly. But it all depends on how the American populace think about Roe versus Wade. That's going to be a big, big issue.
Yeah, the big
huge issue.
Massive
Roe
issue.
versus Wade, not guns. That's a huge thing, right? What have you said? You're putting your eyes to heaven, but Lesley, this is the world. This is the
no. I was agreeing. Excuse me, I was agreeing about Roe versus Wade. It's made me so angry. But
well, it's a shocker.
I just want something positive from Chantal. Thank you very much.
We're going to hear 25 minutes of fabulousness now.
Well, I was going to tell you who I saw on, I think it was Sunday night, I can't quite remember. I went to the Royal Festival Hall to see a new film called Alleluia. Now, I'm not going to review it today, but the only reason I'm telling you about it is I was incredibly excited to see the star of the film Alleluia, which is a film about the NHS, basically, based on Alan Bennett's story in 2018. That aside, it doesn't come out, I think, until February of next year. So I'm not going to talk about it now because it's sort of entirely pointless. But Judi Dench was there, and it was just so exciting to see Judi Dench in the room, 2,000 people all standing up and applauding her. It was just so lovely. And you can just tell she's an incredibly nice woman. I had the privilege of meeting her only once, but God, she's just such a wonderful human being. And everybody else at the Royal Festival Hall obviously also thought so too.
I saw her in conversation at a theatre a couple of months ago, and I mean, I've always loved her, and I fell in love with her all over again. She just comes across as the most lovely human being.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, really genuine. But anyway, I will tell you about Alleluia as and when it comes out in the cinema.
Is it based on the original play that he wrote?
Yes.
I saw the play.
Yeah. Yes, it is, but I'm not going to spoil it by talking
No,
about it
no,
now.
don't.
Most people, it won't mean anything for another 4 months, so it seems
Right.
slightly premature to talk about it. But anyway, I've had a week of movie watching, which has been great. But I did find a really good thriller, surprisingly good thriller on Amazon, which most of us can watch because I think most of us have still got Amazon. And it is actually worth watching. It's got a terrific cast with Chris Pine, Tandy Newton. Who else is in it? Lawrence Fishburne, Jonathan Price. Really good cast. And it's a spy thriller, but actually it's a cut above the rest. You think, often when you look at Netflix and you look at Amazon, you think they're all going to be slightly mid-range and not terrific. But actually, this is good. It's worth watching. It's a bit like a John le Carre, so it's slightly more intelligent than most of the other stuff that's out there. Chris Pine and Tandy Newton play CIA officers, but the story has moved on by 8 years, and Tandy Newton is no longer a CIA officer. There had been a terrible hijacking 8 years earlier, and Chris Pine is determined to find out who the mole was inside the CIA. So he then tracks down his former colleague and indeed former lover, who is Tandy Newton, and then the story starts to unravel from there. And to tell you any more would be completely spoiling it, but actually it's very beautifully filmed. The two of them are dynamic on screen together. And the story is good. It's worth watching. It's only an hour
Does
and
it
a half.
have a name?
It does have a name. It's called All the Old Knives.
Oh,
Which
yes. It's on my
terrible.
list. Look good.
It is good.
Look
But
good.
I mean, what's the title? All the Old Knives.
No,
means
because it
nothing.
sounds like Knives Out, which was that thing
It
with
sounds like Knives Out, exactly.
Daniel Craig,
I
wasn't it?
thought maybe it was the follow-up to Knives Out, but
Yeah,
it's
so
not.
did I. No.
But it's worth watching.
If you want to park your brain and watch a film that is got more plot holes in it than a Gruyere cheese, but is fantastically done
Yes.
and just does exactly what you want these sort of films to do.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It's called Interceptor. All you need to know is that America has two interceptor. It doesn't. All right, it's just made up. Two interceptor bases that can shoot down nuclear missiles coming in to attack the United States of America, and they're taken over by terrorists. They're not really terrorists, but
Right.
anyway, you'll see. That's all you need to know. But the lead, it's produced by Chris Hemsworth, and it stars his wife, and who is Spanish, I believe, and just fantastic. It's just non-stop, bang, 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 bang. It doesn't stop. It's just great.
Okay.
And
Well, I haven't seen that.
imagine like Die Hard, make Die Hard for 2022, and instead of Bruce Willis, you've got a terrific woman in the role. It's great. I was sitting there going, I know this is complete rubbish, but it's great rubbish, and that's what you need sometimes.
Well, I mean, I quite like the predictable sometimes because you know that it's just going to sort of fit into that time that you're going to give it, and you're going to get a sort of satisfying 90 minutes or 2 hours, and I think that's quite good. I mean, I don't think we should always be racking our brains to find something that's so intellectually stretching that you feel sort of exhausted by watching it. That's a different type of watching, and that's great too, but not all the time. Not in my house anyway.
No, not me. Have you seen? I'm really curious. The Sandman. Did you watch any of that? Neil Gaiman.
No.
It's obviously spent a fortune on this series, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I find Neil Gaiman quite difficult. It's just me. I know he's gigantically popular. It's just me. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. It's just me. Finds it difficult. I watched the first episode, and I thought, do I want to watch another 11? No, I don't. One was enough.
Okay.
But I mean, fantastically done. Looks sensational. If you like kind of weird fantasy, etc. The Sandman is on Netflix. It looks incredible. I mean, just incredible. But I thought, you know why? I don't care what happens. So if I get to that stage, it's lost me.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, the Sandman sounds great. So
looks no. It looks. If you like that genre, it's absolutely beautifully done. Beautifully done.
Right. Okay. So earlier in the week, I was very lucky to go to the Reform Club in London, which, as you will know, and for our overseas listeners and viewers, the Reform Club is in Pall Mall, which is a street in London that's full of rather old-fashioned gentlemen's clubs. Well, most of them are gentlemen's clubs. Some of them now, very, graciously of them, let women in.
What?
I don't know if your whiskey club lets women in, does it, Russ?
Oh, perfectly well. Even though, yes, of course it does.
Just checking.
Obviously, they have to sit out, in the street, and we just lower the whiskey to them. They're not coming in. We're not that stupid.
Well, I'm not sure. I think the Reform Club is still men only, and I think the Garrick Club is still men only. I think it is. Anyway, but the reason I mention the Reform Club is that is where the literary character created by Jules Verne, Phileas Fogg, sets off to do his Around the World in 80 Days. And in actual fact, it then made me think about Michael Palin, and I adore Michael Palin. And at the end of the 1980s, he started the BBC series Around the World in 80 Days, which I completely adored. I just love the way he's a journalist without laying it on with a trowel. He tells you everything that you need to know without making it sort of didactic, and it's definitely not boring. He's got such a beautiful manner about him. And Channel 5 have just brought out a 3-part series, which is Michael Palin in Iraq. And I thought, well, I'm not particularly curious about Iraq, but I'm always curious about wanting to see what Michael Palin is up to. So that made me go and watch the 3-part series of Michael Palin in Iraq. And again, he's at nearly 80. You wonder why he's not sitting at home with his feet up and his slippers on. But something or somebody decided to send him off to Iraq. And it's a nice story. It's not of the quality of the BBC series from all those years ago, where enormous amounts of money were spent on it, and very beautifully crafted documentaries. This is a bit lighter. You can tell that they haven't quite had as many filming days as they should have done. But actually, Iraq was fascinating. So if you want a bit of brain stretching stuff without feeling as though you are in a geography lesson, watch the new series that's on Channel 5. 3-parter, 3 1-hours, and it's Michael Palin in Iraq. That's
now,
what it's
how do you both feel, or do you have no views at all, about the fact that John Cleese, who we all admired and looked up to, Python, then of course the wonderful Fawlty Towers, one of my favourites, has joined GB News, because he came in for a hammering this week. I don't know why people do, but you can do what he wants. But people saying, because the only reason I say this is people say, look at Michael Palin, look what he's done, and look at what John Cleese has become.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, do you have any views on that or none?
I'm
ambivalent, frankly.
I don't care. I mean, let him do what he wants. He's always complaining he's run out of money because he has to pay so much alimony. Every time he comes out and does something new, he says it's because I've run out of money. Well, if he wants to earn money that way, that's his choice.
It's true. I know one of his ex-wives. She's great. She's hilarious. But there you go. All right, fair enough. Okay, I'm just very curious how these things. Anyway, Chantal, back to you.
Well, I probably won't be watching John Cleese on GB News, but anyway, I wish him well for whatever he does, and there'll be viewers out there who will want to watch him. So good for him, really, I suppose. What else have I watched? I watched something called The Watcher. Now, this is the thing, again, it's the latest thing that everybody's talking about on Netflix. It's not the Jeffrey Dahmer, because that is rather sadly top of the charts on Netflix, and I really can't be coping with mass murders. It's not in my bailiwick at all, and I want to be able to sleep at night. But I have watched The Watcher. The Watcher is a crime drama based on a true story. I think it's been slightly veneered in the dramatic version that has just come out, but actually it's well made. It's made by a guy called Ryan Murphy, who produces a lot of the big, rather sort of hyper-realistic drama on television in America. It's a 6-parter, 6 1-hours. The true story of a couple in 2014, I think, who move from Manhattan out to New Jersey and buy a 6-bedroom house. They stretch themselves financially. They move into a house that's 120 years old. And on day one, they get a letter that's left in the little post box out at the end of the drive that says, I'm watching this house. I wish you well. but I feel as though I have to protect the house, so I'm watching over it. And this becomes more and more and more macabre, to the extent that you find out that whoever this person is says that not only are they watching it now, but their father had watched it for the 20 years before that, their grandfather had watched it for the 20 years before that. But then all sorts of terrible things happen. Threats to kidnap the children, dead animals being found in the house. Is there a big conspiracy theory that's being put out there by the local, even the historical society gets dragged into it? Are the police corrupt? It's a gripping yarn. It was slightly on the edge. I thought, am I going to be able to cope with this? It's a little bit dark, but actually it's so frothy in many other ways that you go through it very, very quickly. It rattles along. And it's not bad. It's very well acted, very good cast. Bobby Cannavale, who's the husband in it, who's extremely good, well-known American actor of sort of mini-series and dramas of this nature, but worth watching. So it's called The Watcher. It's the
And where do
new
we
Netflix.
find The Watcher?
Netflix.
Netflix. Okie dokie.
It's their big launch this week.
Oh, is it? And it's a series, yeah.
It's
not
a
a film.
6-part series.
Oh,
But you
6
rattle
parts. All right,
through it.
I can hack 6 parts.
Exactly. There won't be a second series because it was just literally about this one story of this house, and it just gets more and more and more peculiar, and you can't quite believe what's happening. But it is a true story, and I got to the end of it, and I immediately went online to find out more of the story from the internet, because you get dragged into it at hyper speed.
But it's not.
But
It's not based on. It's not based on anything, is it?
it is. It's a true
Oh,
story.
it's true. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I
true.
miss? It's true.
It's the sort of thing that you wouldn't carry on watching if you didn't know it wasn't a true story. You'd think, oh, this is all a bit silly and it's all a bit unbelievable. But when you know it's a true story, that's the thing that literally propels you to the end.
Holy moly! I just thought it was like a, you know.
Oh, no.
Oh, I missed that.
Absolutely true story.
Wow.
Anyway,
Gosh.
worth watching.
Okay.
So, yeah.
See, I watched the Dharma thing, but what you're telling me about The Watcher sounds much scarier. I don't, because it's as the unknown, whereas with Dharma, it was kind of there in your face. I was disgusted with myself for watching the Dharma thing. Absolutely disgusted with myself.
If you're disgusted, this Halloween in America, there is a bit of an uproar because you can buy Jeffrey Dahmer costumes for your kids to go. Yes. I mean, is there no boundary which cannot be crossed in the name of commercialism? I mean, I find that if your family had been affected and you know you're walking down the street and some little kid who doesn't know shit from Shino wearing a Jeffrey Dahmer outfit, I'd go up to the parents and punch them in the face. I mean, can you imagine? I would. It's revolting.
Absolutely shocking. I've never heard of that before.
There's like no. Oh, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I thought, nah. And then all the pictures came up. And I thought, oh my God. Right. We have, no, we're all right. We've got 7 minutes for more TV and film magic.
Okay. Well, I wanted to find some more blokey stuff. So guess who's back? And I know that you don't like him, but I'm going to mention it anyway because lots of blokes like Jeremy Clarkson. And he's back.
Love Jeremy Clarkson.
Oh, do we have this conversation every time?
Yes, you always say I'm a huge Clarkson fan. I love him as a presenter, as a writer. I think he's fantastic.
Okay,
love him.
In that case, right. So Clarkson is back with the Grand Tour on Amazon. Yet again, 3 blokes. It's the old team from Top Gear back together again, going around Scandinavia. In the winter, in the snow, in the freezing ice, and creating merry hell as they go across the sort of the bottom end of the Arctic Circle. And it's normal nonsense. It's lovely to see them occasionally and just to be part of that camaraderie and the silliness. And the jokes are good. You feel as though maybe the writing's a little bit better this time. And the stunts are tremendous. There is an ambulance involved. I'm not going to tell you what happens because that would spoil it. There have been lots of trailers all over the internet, so you may have seen the trailers, but that does spoil it. But there is a big crash, which is really sort of
I'm
comes from
so
nowhere,
pleased.
and it's very
Do you know,
surprising.
I didn't even realize it was back. I'm so thrilled it is. I've always enjoyed it. And when you compare it, I try occasionally to watch Top Gear with those. I'm a fan of Chris. Oh, his name's gonna. Chris Harris, who actually knows what he's talking about, and those other two
Yeah.
blokes. I can't. No, I can't watch it. I find it unwatchable. You can't fake that.
Yeah.
This is what
No, they're
TV and
petrol
radio
heads.
doesn't understand. You can't fake it. The ridiculous camaraderie those three, Hammond, Clarkson, and May have got. That's it. You can't say, "Well, let's copy that." You can't copy it. It is what it is.
It's the weirdest chemistry because it sort of shouldn't work, but it works incredibly well. And you can tell that the casting was critical with that program because with three other blokes, Top Gear would never have worked as well as it does. Otherwise, it's just a car show with presenters, and you might as well pick up a magazine.
And also, when you think about it logically, when Top Gear started, you're a television expert, etc. But you remember there would be people going, they'd have some Vauxhall Corsa, no one gives a shit about. And they go, yes, it produces 104 brake horsepower. And what they've done this time is they've done it, and you're going, I don't care. I'm not interested in an Austin Allegro. I want to see something that I'm never, ever going to afford.
Yeah.
And so the guys went out and, just test drive these cars. And we go, oh, that's great. We're never going to have them. We're never going to drive them. They're ridiculous cars. Go out quicker than 20 miles an hour. But it's fun. It's entertainment. It's just great, you know?
Good entertainment.
And also now that Hammond has got, seriously, he's sold a lot of his private collection to fund his garage. He has a proper working business, the name of which is something like Little Cog or something. I can't remember, sorry. And it's a proper business. I mean, it's serious. He's very, very serious. It's a restoration business. He has spent clearly millions setting it up. Oh, yeah, it's a serious old thing. It's a serious old thing. So there's nice clips of James May going in and going, wow, I can see you really doing this because you really want to, do it. They're interesting guys. They're interesting guys. And my little cousin does all their makeup.
Really?
And so if you want to know what people are like, as Chantal will tell you, you ask the makeup people, what are they really like?
All happens in the makeup room.
And she always says, they're just lovely. They're just so nice. And there you go. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, indeed. Not what my makeup lady said when she was doing the makeup for Donald Trump on one of my shoots in New York. But that's a story. That's for another day.
How much orange can you use?
Yeah, lots of orange.
Just get some tango. That'll do it. Right, 2 minutes to just a couple of quickies, if you'll forgive the expression.
2 minutes. The Old Man on Disney Plus. If you've got Disney Plus, Jeff Bridges at the age of 72 plays a retired CIA guy. It's a 7-part series, 7 1-hours, and it's definitely worth watching. Jeff Bridges, Academy Award-winning Oscar. Again, like a lot of these guys now on television, and absolutely brilliant as an ex-CIA guy, and a backstory and murky goings on and people on the run, and he's brilliant. I
rewatched him in R.I.P.D., which was a very silly film from about 10 or 12 years ago.
Oh, I don't know.
Him and not Ryan Gosling. What's the very funny guy? This is Ryan Gosling, isn't it?
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, thank you.
Right.
Ryan Reynolds, and it was a wonderful pairing. It's a very, very, very stupid film, but it was great fun. R.I.P.D. There we are. Chantal, you are, as ever, a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much. You look very glam. Am I allowed to say this these days? Lesley, help me out.
Yes.
You are.
Yeah,
I don't want to get arrested.
Yeah, not only glam, but fabulous. You always look amazing, Chantal.
Incredible.
And today you look
absolutely
exceptionally amazing.
Yeah, jacket. I know every woman
Beautiful.
watching. What is the jacket? Nothing to do with TV. What is the jacket?
Devore, isn't it? Devore velvet.
Gorgeous. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Chantal. We will see you, God willing, next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Lesley de Mesa, thank you so much. It's been absolutely a pleasure. Bless you for stepping in. I'm glad your iPad works. We like your curly hair, loving your kitchen. Take care. And that, gang, is the greengrocer said Shallot. It's been an amazing week. My thanks to everyone who's come on board, all our guests. My thanks to the great Neil Long. My thanks to Lesley de Mesa, Chantal Rickards, and everyone who's rocked up over the week. Most of all, thank you. Without you, we don't have a show. That's a fact. All right, we'll see you Monday. Until then, have a lovely weekend. I'm going to just drink and like it's 1999. Bye, everyone.